So the first, yeah. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with January's TBR. So it's a brand new year, it's a brand new TBR, sort of. I'm doing the same thing. It's my TBR basket. I'll dip in and out of it every single month. Very exciting stuff over here. I don't have any new rules or anything, so we're not starting the year doing anything crazy. This is a little bit later than I wanted to get this up, but better late than never. So we don't need to recap the last month because we're starting from a blank slate. So let's just dive in to what we have in store for January. I have no expectations. I just have books that I'd like to get on this list. So let's see what happens. Pick number 1. The first prompt is a book set around water. So for this one, I'm going to go with The Inadequate Heir by Danielle Jensen. This is the 3rd book in the Bridge Kingdom series. It's one that I've tried to read many times, but I'm in like a fantasy vibe right now. So I'm hoping to get to this one. It is, like I said, the 3rd in her series. What she likes to do is there's going to be 6 total. There's only 4 out right now. And each 2 books is a different main 2 characters and arc. And so in this one we meet our next 2 main characters, and this takes place in a kingdom on a bridge, so it's set around water. The first one followed the king of the Bridge Kingdom and then the woman who's a princess from a neighboring kingdom who has been sent in to be his wife and also has been sent to kill him. And so it's their romance. And then this one follows her brother and one of the general's warriors from one of the other neighboring lands. So it's set during kind of a wartime a little bit, but this one is set around a bridge, a kingdom on a bridge, and there's water everywhere. And the first 2 had tons of water, so that's what I'm going with this one. Number 2. Ooh, okay. The next one is a random color generator, which I have done already, so I'll plop it here. And we ended up getting this very, very bright orange. So what I'm doing is, for this one, I'm going to go with The Endless War, which is the 4th book in the Bridge Kingdom series. Because if you look kind of at like the sunset-y thingy that's going on in the background, there's quite a few different oranges in this, and I'm sure one of those matches this color perfectly. So that's what I'm doing. It's the 4th one to finish that arc, because I know that once I finish the 3rd one, I'm going to want to immediately pick up the 4th one. So here we go. This is me helping myself out. Number 3. Okay. The next one is Philippa Gregory, which just means read a Philippa Gregory book. I have her Plantagenet and Tudor England series, which is all right up there, and I'm getting really close to the end of it. So eventually we're gonna have to pull her name out of the basket, but this is just my next one. And this one, if I'm feeling the historical romance, not historical romance, historical fiction vibe. And so the next one in this series is The Virgin's Lover. And this one follows Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth I. And I don't really know the timeline of anything, but obviously we're going to follow her. And then she usually follows women. So I'm sure it's going to be, there's a Dudley, Sir Robert Dudley, who is thought of as Elizabeth's lover, but it was never confirmed, and so his wife, I'm sure, is going to be one of the major players in this book, but it's that Tudor England time period. This just happens to be the next book in my list of Philippa Gregory books, so I think after this one, there's only 2 left, so we're making it to the end, but this is the next one, so this one is on the TBR. Number 4. goodness gracious. Okay, what is happening? There it goes. Ooh. The next one is to read a book set in a warm place, which I'm not gonna lie, a little bit hard to do, but I figured out a book that I really want to get onto my TBR because I'm hoping to do a vlog with it, and it's also from the library, so I got my physical library book in, and that is Any Day With You, and this is by May I'm gonna mispronounce it. May Respicio? This follows our main character, who is Kaya, I think is how you pronounce it. She's 12 years old, and they live in Santa Monica on a beach, and so it takes place during the summer. There's my warm element. But she is trying to figure out her place a little bit in the world, what she wants to do. She's really into like sci-fi, not sci-fi, special effect makeup and things like that. And so, and her free time, she does that and makes indie films, and also loves hanging out with her grandfather. So this book really kicks off when her grandpa, who is from the Philippines, and he goes back every single year, but this year he has decided that he's going to go back for good, and she is not okay with this. So this is, I'm sure, their story of her figuring out stuff. We're going to hear some stories because he likes to tell stories about his time in the Philippines. It does say here in the synopsis that he served during World War II, so I'm sure we're going to get some interesting war stories there. It's not super long, but it is a fun little middle grade. So there you go. That's the one I'm going to go with because it seems to be set in the summer and by a beach. Number 5. We'll do that one. Oh, okay. The next prompt is an A to Z book, and this just means I do a random letter generator, and the book title has to start with that letter. So I did, you'll see right here, and I got P, which was harder than I thought it was going to be, but I've decided to go with one that I've been trying to get finished for like half a year at this point. And I'm going with the series title rather than the book itself title, and that is the 5th book in the Percy Jackson and Olympians series, which is The Last Olympian. I started this, honestly, I don't remember. It was in the summer sometime. I started this, and I made it. I still have my bookmark in. I made it to chapter 3, so 44 pages in, and I don't know what happened, and I stopped. So this is the last book, not in the series, because I know the author has come out with newer things, but this is the last one in the original series and also the last one that I own. So I want to finish this series out because we're literally holding on to like 1 or 2 books at this point. So I really, really need to finish this one. So like I said, this is the last book in the series. This one specifically, I don't remember what it's about, but also, since it's the 5th book, I don't really want to tell you what it's about. So I just know that like this series, obviously, I'm sure many of you know what the series is about, especially with the new show that's like out and popular now. But this follows Percy Jackson, who is a demigod, and in the first book he goes to a camp for demigods and ends up going on a quest, and it has to do with Zeus's lightning bolt going missing. So that's kind of the story of the first book, and then it spirals from there because it's way more than that. There's obviously a big overarching plot, but I've really enjoyed the last couple, and so I want to get to this one. Maybe this is the month. We shall see. Number 6. Ooh, okay. The next one is a book with a number in the title, which, again, harder than it should have been. But I finally figured out that this one would work. And also this is one that I've been really wanting to pick up. So I'm hoping that I actually do take the time to pick it up. And that is The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the 4th book in the Blood and Ash series. It's also the last book that I own. There are 5 out, I think, at this point. I think there's going to be 6 total, and that's the end, but I might have made that up. I don't actually remember how many are going to be in the series, but this is the 4th one, and the next one that I need to read, and as you can see, 2 right there is in the title. So this one again continues. It's the 4th one in the series. It continues from the events of the last few. The first book in the series, From Blood and Ash, I've talked about a bunch. I loved it. It follows our main character Poppy, who is the maiden, which means that she is going to be like given to the gods. She's not really sure what that means. No one's really explained to her what that means, but she is heavily protected, has like very, very strict rules to the point of like feels almost like she is a captive in a way. And so she can't do things, like she has to wear all white, she has to cover her face, she can't interact with certain people, things like that. And so the story really gets started when she ends up getting a new bodyguard. And then things spiral from there. There's a lot of fantastical elements in here. The last one ended abruptly. I mean, they all kind of have a very abrupt ending, but this one, I was like, my soul. So, very excited to see where the next one goes. Pretty thick. This one is, what, like over 600 pages? So, we'll see what happens, but this is the next one, and number 2 is in the title. Well, not the number, but the word 2 is in the title, and I'm counting it. Number 7. Ooh. The next one is to read a book with a dark cover. So for this one, I'm choosing Freeing Luca, and this is by Victoria Aveline. This is the second book in the Clickanian series. I'm sure I butchered that title because I can never seem to pronounce it. But the first one was Choosing Theo, which I adored. You guys know I loved this. I read that a couple of years ago for my monster romance vlog that I did. And just like it took over my soul, and I've been meaning to continue the series because it follows Theo's siblings, I think, is the rest of the series. And I just loved it so much, so I'm very interested to see where it continues. I'm very interested to see the world because I really enjoyed learning about the world in the first one. This one just continues and follows Luca, who I think is, like I said, one of Theo's siblings. Don't know the details of this one, just know that it's next in the series and it's got a dark cover. So very excited. Also, the author has been releasing the hardback, oh crap, what are they called? Discreet covers, and I've got the hardback of Choosing Theo, but I didn't want to purchase any more because they're kind of expensive until I read them, because like at that point I'd read Choosing Theo and it was great. So I want to see if the other ones are worth it. Right now the first 2 are the only ones that are out in that edition, but we'll see. That is beside the point. The point is, this is what I'm choosing. It's an alien-ish romance. I say ish because yes, it takes place on a different planet, but they're humanoids, so it doesn't really feel like aliens, and they just have some cultural things that are very different that is really interesting to read about. So I'm excited to see one of the brothers because, like I said, I loved Theo so much that I want to see what else this author has in store for us in the series. And number 8. Oh, all right. And the very last prompt is highest rated on Goodreads. So I did this one already as well because I was preparing for this month. So I'll pop it here. But we ended up getting Goblin of the Glade by Mackenzie Catron, which is a book that I loved the first one of. It's a companion sequel. I mean, it is a sequel in the sense of it takes place after the events of the first one, because there are some couples that are together in this one, and there are some characters that we know. I mean, we follow a different set of main characters, but it is like they're connected, to the main characters from the first one. So I actually got the arc of this one. It came out in November, I believe. And that was smack dab in the middle of all of my fun little slumping. So didn't get around to it. But this one is the highest rated on Goodreads that is currently out and I can read. So I'm going to give myself some grace with this one because, like I said, it's an arc and I have the ebook of it, but I'm not reading a whole lot right now. I'm still easing my way back into reading a little bit. So if I don't get to this one, that's fine. But I think it doesn't show you in the video, but if I kept scrolling, I think one of the next ones that I could have picked right under this one was the next volume of Lore Olympus. So if I'm not, this one's going to be an if, maybe we'll see what happens, but we're going to go for this one. And then if it doesn't work, then I might try Lore Olympus instead, just because I don't want to push myself to read something and then I know this book's going to be great because the first one was great and the author's writing is really, really good. I don't want that to, I don't want my pushing of a book that I'm not in the mood to read hinder my enjoyment of it and end up not liking this book that I would have liked otherwise. So we'll see. Anyway, but that's the one that's the highest rated, so that's one I'm technically putting in the spot, but we might shuffle around and give myself some leeway with that one. But that's it. Those are the 8 books that the lovely basket picked for me this month. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned, as always, in this video. I have some vlog ideas, so we'll see. Again, not pushing myself. We'll see how everything kind of shakes out. Again, I've got some arcs that I should read, but probably won't, just because that's like, my mood is right now to go with the flow and not to force myself into anything that I don't want to read. But I am genuinely excited about the books that are on this TBR. I got a lot of the kind of fantasy books that were like at the top of my like radar right now. I got one of the books that's on my list of books to read by the end of the year on there. Like, I was able to do a lot of things with this TBR. So excited about that. But as always, let me know your thoughts. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so check all that out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!